And we're joined now by the House Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries. Congressman, thank you for coming in this morning. Let's pick up where we left off there with Jake Sullivan. You saw the speaker yesterday say that he's going to bring a standalone Israel bill to the floor of the House. Your response?
Well, we'll evaluate that legislation over the next few days, and then on Tuesday morning, House Democrats will meet as a caucus.
So you might be open to it?
Well, to decide the way forward as it relates to America's national security priorities. Clearly, we've got to support Israel's ability to defend itself against Hamas and to defeat Hamas. We also need to make sure that we're doing everything possible to bring the hostages home, including American citizens, and to be able to surge humanitarian assistance to Palestinian civilians who are in harm's way in Gaza through no fault of their own. Beyond that, we also have to address the national security priorities of the American people in other parts of the world. First and foremost, certainly to support Ukraine's effort to push back against Russian aggression, also to support our allies in the Indo-Pacific, Taiwan, Japan, South Korea. The legislation being put forth by House Republicans does none of that. The responsible approach is a comprehensive one to address America's national security priorities.
Any prospect the Speaker will put something like that on the floor?
Well, that remains to be seen. I think the Senate is working its way through to a comprehensive agreement. We could see text as early as later on this afternoon, if not tomorrow, and we should evaluate that when it's available.
How about on the aid to Israel? Several members, progressive members of your caucus, have said that they want some conditions now on aid to Israel, including your fellow New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. What do you say to them?
Well, Israel has a right to defend itself, and also, of course, a responsibility to conduct its war in a manner consistent with the international rules of conflict. We shouldn't put conditions on the ability of any of our allies to defend themselves, particularly against a brutal terrorist regime like Hamas.
What else needs to be in this bill?
Well, as the Senate is working its way through to a possible bipartisan agreement dealing with our national security priorities in other parts of the world, supporting our NATO allies, stopping Russian aggression, which is necessary, and Ukraine has done a very good job showing incredible resilience against a brutal Russian attack. We can't abandon that. And we also, of course, have to work on the challenges related to our broken immigration system. We'll see what emerges from the Senate in that regard.
Perhaps, but isn't that dead on arrival in the House? The House Republicans made it very clear they're not going to consider something like that.
It should not be dead on arrival. See, you know, we need more common sense in Washington, D.C., less conflict and less chaos. We're in a period of divided government. That means we should be trying to find bipartisan common ground. House Democrats have made that clear. On any issue, we'll work with our Republican counterparts when it makes sense in terms of delivering real results for the American people. How can a bill be dead on arrival and extreme MAGA Republicans in the House haven't even seen the text? They don't even know what solutions are being proposed in terms of addressing the challenges at the border. House Republicans at this point are wholly owned subsidiaries of Donald Trump. They're not working to find real solutions for the American people. They are following orders from the former president. That's the height of irresponsibility. That's what the American people dislike about Washington, D.C. at this moment.
It's pretty clear that this week there is going to be a vote to impeach the Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas. Do Republicans have the votes to pass it?
That remains to be seen, but there is no evidence that House Republicans have produced to show that Secretary Mayorkas has engaged in an impeachable offense, has broken the law, has committed a high crime or misdemeanor, which is the standard for impeachment. What does impeaching Secretary Mayorkas have to do with fixing the challenges at the border? The answer is absolutely nothing. This is a partisan political stunt, and it should be abandoned by my Republican colleagues.
When it comes to politics, President Biden won the South Carolina primary, 96% of the vote last night. Resounding victory there, but he's still locked in a dead heat with Donald Trump, according to some polls, behind in many of the key swing states. What does he need to do right now?
Well, it was a tremendous victory in South Carolina, a decisive one. And I think it demonstrates that as we enter into the campaign season, the American people are beginning to focus on President Biden's incredible track record of results. From the American Rescue Plan, shots in arms, money in pockets, kids back in school, rescuing the economy from a once-in-a-century pandemic and allowing the American economy to emerge as the most advanced in the world. Yes, more needs to be done in terms of addressing affordability and the inflationary pressures, and President Biden has a vision to do that. Infrastructure and investment, passed clean water in every community, bringing domestic manufacturing jobs back home to the United States of America, lowering the price of insulin to $35 per month for millions of Americans when it had cost $4,000 a year. This is an incredible track record of results and accomplishments. We will not run on this track record simply to say to the American people, reward us, but we can say, trust us. We say what we mean, and we mean what we say. We're going to continue to put people over politics and deliver real results for the American people. And when the American people process that, George, I think President Biden will continue to be in a strong position to be reelected.
All signs do now point, though, however, to a close election, even the prospect of perhaps that it could be thrown to the House. What are the prospects that a majority of states' delegations will be controlled by Democrats if indeed this is thrown to the House?
Well, we're going to work very hard to make our case to the American people that we are focused on finding common ground, exercising common sense to deliver the common good and make progress for hardworking American families. If we are able to successfully articulate that vision for the future, people over politics, lower costs, better paying jobs, growing the middle class, safer communities, fixing our broken immigration system, I think we're going to be in a strong position in November to deliver a House Democratic majority.
Hakeem, Jeffries, thanks very much for your time this morning.
Thanks, George.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.